I'm going to check that one out. But first of all, I am delighted to be joined by Mr. Michael McMain from Xaviant, one of my favorite interviews from E3.
Well, thank you for that.
The creator.
My favorite interview as well.
Oh, was it really?
Yes.
Okay, let's try to do it again. Chris Waters and Kevin Van Ort here as well. Of course, we're gonna make it the best interview ever for Lichdom Battlemage, or as Chris and the rest of our colleagues like to call it,
Lichdom Battlemage.
This game, it's out today.
It is.
Like officially no more
out.
alpha, no more beta.
Play the whole thing.
How does that feel? You guys have been working on this for quite a while.
Yeah, it's a big deal. We're all kind of freaking out a little bit.
Before we talk about the game, I want to briefly touch on kind of your story, because we talked right before E3 about
That's correct.
Like how many games you'd worked on. I assumed that you'd worked on a bunch of games because this seems to be a game that's quite mechanically deep and whatnot. But this is your first game. This is Xaviant's first game, right?
That is correct. Yes, it's our first game for the studio and the first game for me as well.
So you used to work in a totally different industry, and then kind of decided you wanted to make a game about badass mages.
Yeah, I mean, we were in a position where I had an engineering team that I could kind of do whatever I wanted. And I said, well, I'm an avid gamer. I always wanted to play games, so I'm going to make one. That's what we did.
Is that like a daunting experience, like coming from?
It was, to be honest. It was a little sobering, I think, in the beginning. You know, we knew that we needed to get some experts that had shipped games before, but it was there was definitely a labor of love involved in this. You know, it took us a while to get going and figure out what we were going to do. We spent some time prototyping and started on this about 2 years ago, and this is our first thing, and we feel good about it.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we're all excited.
Let's hop right in. Kevin, you've played it a bunch of times on the the lobby.
I've been on the lobby before playing the game, and I'm sure I'll be terrible. It's just the given. The developer's here, so this means I'm going to look as bad as possible.
Your attitude is terrible.
It's the thing I do.
Come on, Kevin. Chin up. You got this,
Luckily,
champ.
I don't need the shield, so I'm just going to go right on
I believe in
past
you.
there.
First of all, this is obviously, I think this game makes a really great first impression. It looks gorgeous. This is CryEngine, right?
Yes, it is. That's correct. And this is actually a fairly tough area to get through where you're at right here.
Right. Kevin always picks the toughest areas.
Kevin,
so
what are these gross blocks of goo that you're making? Oh, you got frozen.
It's my least favorite thing to happen.
That's that Bone Bolter. He's probably going to shoot you again while you stare at that.
So Lichdom Battlemage is a first-person game where you play as a mage, but you guys have kind of, I guess, because you're only playing as mage, you're not like doubling up on anyone else. The mage's role within battle has changed. You guys have gotten rid of cooldowns and whatnot.
That's correct. You know, we just wanted to do something that really highlights magic, and we started by taking away some of the the things that typically get constraints that are put on magic, right? Where you've got cooldowns and mana bars and things, and just make it all about just throwing your power around as much as you can.
And I'm stinking already, but. This is a particularly tough area, I have to say.
It is.
You just
but this
wrecked
happens.
that guy.
So you got your corruption going now. That's cool.
I really love corruption. It's my favorite thing because god damn.
Just generally.
Gosh,
So the
I
neat
told
thing
you I was going to stink.
The neat thing about corruption is it's about infecting your enemy with parasites. And so depending on how you build your spell, there's 3 different ways to build every spell. You've got destruction, which is about doing damage, or control, which is typically about crowd controlling an enemy. And then you've got mastery, which is about debuffing them, so you get really huge, big crits on them.
I gotta say, I love that getting frozen screen because it's not like, oh, the edges of my vision are blue. It's like, no, your eyeballs are straight up frozen over. You can't see crap.
And Lichdom is from my experience playing it, and also from watching Kevin suck real hard on the lobby, it's a challenging first-person game.
It is surprisingly challenging. I didn't mean to interrupt it. No. I wasn't really expecting the challenge that it became.
I want to remind the folks at home if they have any questions hopefully from Michael, because I feel like Kevin's got his he's busy enough here. By all means, put them in the Twitch chat. I'll be pulling them out of there.
So that guy is the guy that was freezing you primarily. When you see those bone bolters with the blue, that means that their shots are frozen shots.
Can we talk a little bit about the sort of spell creation toolkit? Because I found this really interesting at E3.
Yeah.
Instead of there being like straight up just a bunch of trees that you kind of pull from and pour experience into, you guys have went a little bit deeper on your spell creation.
Yeah, what we did is we made it so that instead of dropping spells that are pre-made or upgrades that are pre-made, it's all about dropping the components that you want to use to build your own spells, right? To build in the way that you want to build them. So you've got the basic shape of the spell, which determines how you're going to deliver it, right? Like this,
so like a ball, fire
this
or
is
a ball.
This is what we call a missile spell. So it actually has a little bit of a homing, and then there's other different targeted shapes, like a lob that has no aiming component, throws as a lob and breaks into other things.
As an AoE or whatever.
Yes, and then there's a beam. There's a couple of different AoEs and so forth. So you take that shape, and then you take these other components that are called augments that come in the form of destruction, control, and mastery, and those determine how your spell is going to behave.
That must have been crazy for you guys to sort of bug test, because presumably there's quite a lot of variation that can happen there.
Yes, yeah, there is quite a number of different things, because there's 8 sigils in the game, and there's 7 different ways to shape them, and then you've got 3 different ways to build each shape, so it can get out of hand.
I got a first question here from Hassan in the Twitch chat. Is there a story in this game?
There is. We have a story. You basically are playing an individual who the sort of nobility, the dark nobility of the town has put them under your boot, and you become freed by an older mage that gives you these bracers of power to let you exact revenge and then kind of fight for the good of the city. So
you guys went pretty deep with voice acting as well in this
we
bad
did.
boy.
Yeah, we have Troy Baker and Jennifer Hale and Clancy Brown and some others.
Is that presumably a lot of the stuff that people who has on the early access, because this has been in I guess alpha and, well, beta presumably mostly for quite a while now. Is that mostly what's come out in the full release? The sort of the story is now one straight.
Yes,
sort of
yeah. Now that we have the whole story in there, we've had bits and pieces that have come online as we came online with our different stages of the game, and we've added quite a bit of depth to that to the story. So.
Shall we do? I thought I'd show the
please.
Yeah, that's a great
bit.
idea.
So one good place to start obviously is synthesis, because you can take you keep upgrading these things. Like you start with just like white things, and you gradually combine those, and they become more powerful. Then you start combining those, and they become more powerful. And there's a certain element where it's like, I wonder what this is going to make when I put these all together. And so we can start with something like just combining these 3.
Are you expecting?
And then boom! Now we have a dissolving destruction of precision. It's hard to read the TV, but like so. Then you get multipliers and
yes, you get increased apocalypticals there. That's pretty cool. Another neat thing, if you look at the synthesis, if you go up to one of the blue ones you have there, you'll see that there's go down one to that hardened shield, the one higher.
Which one here? Oh, here.
Yeah, that there's actually 2 synthesis options on that, so you can synthesize that from purple to orange, so you can go up twice on that one.
Have you had your community sort of almost having like cookbook battles where they were creating like different spells and sharing them within the forums and whatnot?
Right.
Have you considered a sequel to the game called Cookbook Battles?
This is why I don't make video games.
Yes.
HGP1 is asking about the story. Is it linear? Is it open?
Oops.
How long is it? Stuff like that.
So the approach that we took to the level design is they're tailored levels. You have a beginning and an end to each level that you go through. They're crafted in that sense. Some of the later levels have some more exploration areas where they kind of open up and you have different paths that you can take. But we have a sort of a beginning to end approach to the game.
Are you guys going to be adding more to it over the next coming months and years? Is this a?
We haven't announced any upcoming stuff yet, but we're definitely not done with it.
It'd be a little bit funny to spend so much time engaging with your community and adding stuff, and then suddenly just to cut it off.
Exactly, and that's been a big thing for us. Just the early access has been phenomenal for us. It really helped hone the game. This is a completely different game just 12 weeks ago.
Really?
Yes, it looked very, very different back then.
Do you imagine that'll continue to be the case? You'll probably tweak and whatnot?
Mm-hmm.
How do you choose what time to release it?
So we had decided that. We knew that 2 years ago.
Yeah.
When we sat down, we had this date set.
Oh, based on the date as opposed to
we were shooting for the date. Because when you go to release a game, we don't have a publisher, right? This is just something that we're doing on our own. And it's easy to just keep going forever.
Yeah.
You have to pick a date and release it, and so that's what we did.
Is that something you've taken from your?
It was a nice block.
Is that a sort of a mentality you've taken from your previous job, sort of applying into this?
You have to have a constraint that you're operating under.
King of the Den 91 asks, can you customize your gear? So outside of the spell stuff, in terms of items and whatnot, or is that more of a warrior game thing?
Yeah, so for us, it's all about your magic and the innate power. So everything that's dropping is your spells and your defense. there are no bracers or stabs or robes or anything like that. It's all in your magic.
A lot of questions in the chat asking, I'm going to go with Bob Jones 1980, what platform this is on. So this is out on Steam today on PC.
That's correct.
You guys looking at consoles at all for this bad boy?
So, I'd love to see this on a console. We don't have any specific plans for that yet, but I would definitely love to see that.
Watch this space. Obama Dance asks, great name, does it have multiplayer? Any co-op, any competitive?
No, right now it's a single player experience.
This is going to kill me.
You're all right. How you doing, Kevin?
Back here. Do it, take it, do it quick.
There you go.
Kevin, talk a little bit about how you're sort of, what your tactics here are on combat, because...
So it depends on what I'm facing. Sometimes there's just a good old-fashioned, like Serious Sam, move backwards and do your best. But that doesn't always work, and sometimes blocking is the better thing. Even for me, when I'm not as block-heavy as I think the game wants me to be.
Nice. Now his eyeballs are frozen.
As you see, like right now I'm a little worried about stuff like that.
That guy.
So... Oh, I thought I was dead. I was keeping going. One thing that I like though is that you get to keep everything. So death is basically just go back to the previous point.
Right.
Yeah.
But you get to keep all of the things that you got.
Yeah, you'll
so
never
if you're
lose
having
anything.
trouble,
And it said ice leveled up during that section, so those levels up, they stay with you.
That's correct.
oh yeah.
Yes, everything. So if you, not only the loot, every time loot lands in your inventory, you get, it saves the game. And then
cool.
And then your sigils level as you're doing things. They have different requirements. So it might be kill a certain number of enemies or that sort of thing.
I just zoomed right through this bit before. It's funny that I specifically didn't take another route because there's another route that's really hard. And I'm like, oh, I'm not going to do that. I'll look like a fool.
We're obviously looking at the sort of Arctic tundra level here. There's a lot of variety as well in terms of the level design.
That is correct, right. When you get later in the game, there's there's a swamp area, there's a desert area, sort of a ruins in the desert that's really, really cool.
You can see all that sort of stuff on GameSpot's own coverage, and also I know on the Steam page, on the store page, you've got a little trailer there as well. People can check out. Goops, you're right, asks, is there a limit to the number of spells you can create, like a max level? Or is it more based on you discovering the sigils and the...
Yeah, so our loot drops in tiers, and as you go through the game, the tier continually increases.
Oh, I forgot about
and
that.
we go pretty deep in the tiers in our New Game Plus. We have a New Game Plus experience that after you complete the story, we kind of chain pieces together.
Okay.
So you do these little different types of missions as you go through facing different types of enemies.
Do you expect people to do that, to sort of take the character that they've had, or do you think people will sort of start from the start and respec?
So we really kind of have an option to do both. If you want to start over again and play something you haven't played, you could do that. You have access to all the sigils, but the way the leveling works, you can only level 3 of them.
Okay.
So if you decide to level a 4th, you have to turn one of the other 3 off, and you lose all your levels.
Okay.
So so there's a choice to make.
Is there any debt to respecking like that? Do you lose any of your XP when you respec, or are you allowed to move around?
Yeah, it's all based on tasks that are like kill 30 enemies, kill 80 enemies. So you lose that progress, and you have to go through that again if you decide to switch.
Let's upgrade the sigil.
My favorite thing about doing these... my favorite thing about some... Did you just get
God
ice
damn
in the menu?
You just got smoked.
The game doesn't
That was
pause
the
when you
worst
go into the
time.
menu. So
It only
I had
pauses when
no
you go into the
idea that
system
there was
menu.
a
That's
thing.
correct. Yeah, no equipping your spells in the middle of
See,
combat.
I saw this coming. I saw this coming. The good news is that
You're the worst mage ever.
Yeah, the good news is that most of I don't know. Like I'm actually starting to sort of enjoy this challenge because I like having to learn new ways of dealing with it. The first boss, it was interesting. Like the first point where it really was hard for me is the very first boss, and it took a little bit of doing because it's one of those bosses where it's just not like, okay, you're not just dealing with big dude, you're dealing with a bunch of ads too.
Minions.
And you just come from playing quite a lot of Divinity, so it's almost like...
I did.
just
That's
got
a
sucked
different
into
kind
the
of
game.
hard. But
one of my favorite things about doing a game where people are interested in it is that the questions coming through are so specific. I'm going to go real quick. One-word answers on this. Sakatume asks, any pet system?
Pet system, yes.
Okay. Any puzzles, like side quests outside of the main combat?
No.
Slender, no. Any... is there a lava level?
A lava level?
Yes.
There is lava in a level, yes.
Great. Okay. Nice. Technically, like it.
Watch out for the bowman, Kevin.
Oh, I always forget about the bowman. Thank you. There's 2 of them. I think I got the one though.
Excellent. All right, Kevin. You kill this dude or die.
I thought I was almost.
There's 2.
If you kill both these guys.
The controls, so now you got to pop them with your fire.
I was
you
hoping
literally
to charge
have the
up.
dev telling you what to do.
Oh.
The #1 expert on Lichdom Battlemage is sitting right beside you.
Cool thing there, as soon as you kill him, he kills you.
He's so fast. But it's funny because I really I never. There was a while, if I go through that other area, I'll swear. Okay. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I got so excited I'm spitting all over the developer. If I go through the other area, I will start swearing because I'm not, I like using freedom of movement while I play it, and it's a little bit more confined, so you have to be very careful. Like you get 3 guys coming on you at once, and you have to kind of get in position so that you can see all 3 of them at one time, because if you don't maneuver right, you've got dudes you can't see attacking you. That never goes well in this game.
Are you doing the review?
Yeah, I'm working on it now.
When will it be up?
Yeah, I don't know because I don't know how long it's going to be, but I'm told it's quite a bit longer than where I'm at.
Yes, you got a bit to go through.
So, but awesome. I'm enjoying it so far, and I enjoyed it in alpha and beta, and it's really good to get back to it. And there's been a lot done. I mean, he's right. I mean, just from my perspective, there's a lot of stuff that's different between night and day. Like this whole interface, all new. All of that is different just from the last time I played it. So.
Cool. So yes, review soon on GameSpot.com.
Yeah,
Michael McMain, thank you so much.
Thank you very much
for coming in. You guys have come over, obviously all the way from Georgia to the West Coast, but you're not just staying here. You're heading up to PAX.
Yeah, we're going to be at PAX. We have a big booth there, so you come by and see us at PAX.
Excellent. Lichdom Battlemage out today on